woke up this morning to a news article about a subject I had to deal with recently, which has fueled my need to rant. So, enjoy. I think we can all agree that cancel culture isn't great. When you're mad at somebody for something that they said 5 years ago on Twitter, or even for saying something recently that came from a place of ignorance, it can be very toxic. You're not giving that person a chance to grow past their mistakes. This isn't to say you have to forgive them, but demonizing them for the rest of their lives or condemning anyone who likes said person is going way too far. And death threats. Death threats are always too far. There is, however, a difference between canceling a person for something in their past and being rightfully angry at someone who is spreading hate. The article that upset me was one of the many about Ralph Fiennes thinking that J.K. Rowling facing backlash for being a TERF is disturbing. He is quoted to have said, "This age of accusation and the need to condemn is irrational, and that the level of hatred the people express about views that differ from theirs and the violence of language towards others is disturbing." Now, J.K. Rowling is openly against the trans right movement. She has made it very clear, and there are plenty of other people that can explain why what she's saying is so wrong, and I'll link some of those videos down below. Please go watch them, support those creators, learn more about the issues. So I'm not going to be talking about that. I'll leave that to the people who are more qualified. Instead, I want to focus on the idea that people's responses to this are disturbing or simply a difference of opinion. Like I said earlier, completely agree with the fact that death threats and other violent language never appropriate. However, what Ralph doesn't seem to consider when stating that it's all a difference of opinion is the topic that's being centered around is people's lives and their rights. We're not talking about whether cake or pie is better, it's about a human being's rights. J.K. Rowling is quite simply spreading hate towards a community, and with her huge platform, this can be incredibly harmful. When hate is seen as being acceptable, people with those prejudices will also start to become more vocal. It's like a domino effect of bad people revealing themselves. Remember when Trump came into office and racists started being more open because their president was, so they felt like it was okay and they could get away with it. J.K. Rowling is essentially opening up another echo chamber for transphobes to yell in and feed off of. So yes, people are against her, just as people would be against someone who's racist or homophobic or ableist or discriminates against others. And yes, people are going to speak up about it. That's historically how people had to fight for their rights. And if they didn't, people who didn't know a lot about the transgender community are only going to see the lies and hate. Like I said, J.K. Rowling has a huge platform. A large number of them won't have experience with the trans community. She is most well known for being a children's book author, after all. Many of her fans are kids who are listening and just experiencing this for the first time. What's important in fighting hate is informing others so that they can better understand. That's why it's important for people to talk about their experience, to stand up to hate. So yes, people spoke up against J.K. Rowling. Yes, many people have decided to distance themselves in every way, shape, and form from Harry Potter and any other works that she produces. Yes, she went from a household name to one that triggers pain and discomfort overnight, but it's not for no reason. What she did wasn't just something small. It was spreading hate for a community. There is a major discussion around cancel culture that needs to happen, specifically the toxic environment found on Twitter, but calling someone out for being hateful or using their platform to harm a community is completely different, and that needs to be recognized. Just as a side note, now that I'm done my rant, I don't think anyone should send hate to Ralph Fiennes. I will say again, violent language never called for. It's better to educate people, and that's where this is coming from. Just desire to speak about it, because I know a lot of people say cancel culture is bad in its entirety, and sometimes it is true, but it's not always true, because some people are just being hateful, and that needs to be recognized.